Okay, I wanted to show this setup here. So basically, you're on a computer that you don't have admin rights for. It's Windows box, or even Linux. You can take the same image and apply it to Linux space too. But the idea is you don't need local admin, and you just need PowerShell. And if you're lucky, you'll have hardware acceleration. So this automatically detects which hardware acceleration you have and automatically enables it. The idea there is if you're on a computer, you're doing some testing and you want to have local admin, this will give you local admin without needing local admin. So this script will download Debian and it will auto download QEMU and it will auto install the whole thing with 4 gigs. You can change these values. I wouldn't use different QEMUs. I've tested this one. The newest one could work with the changes I've made, but I'm using this version that I know is pretty stable from 2021. So here's your default amount of RAM, 4 gigs. I usually do 6 or so. Once you get past that, it starts. I mean, when you add more CPUs, also it's the acceleration doesn't seem to want to work. So past one CPU and RAM doesn't really matter. You can actually tell it to allocate, which I need to add that in here, to where it allocates the RAM instead of dynamically. It does it instantly. But anyways, we'll go ahead and get it started here, and I'll kind of pause it when it gets lengthy. So we've downloaded it. We right-click, and like I said, you don't need admin. You don't need anything. It would be nice to have hardware acceleration via HAX, Intel Axiom, or Windows hypervisor stuff. You can uncheck that. So the first time you run it, it's going to basically detect everything and install. So it doesn't see the ISO, so it's going to pull that down. And I do some tricks to get the QEMU file to binary to download because he does like some refer checking or something. The downloader for PowerShell default is not great, so there's another one that uses some stream function that can pull down files much faster. The whole thing takes on this machine like 5 minutes to install, 10 minutes, and you get a fully fledged box. Now you can install whatever remote access client, and then you can change the forwarding ports. So right now we're installing QEMU locally to this little box. Now there's a trick that I use for that. It's compatibility mode, and it's called run as invoker. So normally when you would run an executable like this, it would bring up a thing and say, "Oh, you need local admin." You don't. The problem is you just need to invoke it as you try that invoke first before you do anything. Now, if it starts touching files outside of the user space, you'll still get that error message. Even also registry keys. But try the whenever you're running something and you have to have admin, do the compatibility mode, run as invoker, and also Windows XP compatibility mode might also help. So this is basically booting off um, of the extracted kernel with the boot images and stuff. So this is the auto install config basically that tells it to run stuff. So this is all the stuff that it's going to run or install. Kind of post setting up the machine, and I'll add stuff in here that as I see it. But I haven't found a good remote access tool for Linux that just works, that gives me like file transfer and everything that's not VNC basically. So I need to look around, do some research if RDP is the right choice, if there's like a VNC, there's tons of options there. But right now it's just a remote, and you can set up reverse shells, whatever you need to do. Um, there's also the option for smaller images, custom images like Puppy Linux or Tiny Linux, and then you can install whatever you need to install and like start mounting the guest OS or the host OS file system so you can pull stuff off the host OS. I will let this run. It's now like installing, running the Slipstream kind of installer, and I'll give it a second here to finish. Right now it's 4:27. All right, so it's been about 5 minutes. It's doing the, it's finished all the install stuff, and now it's setting up the bootloader and grub. And I updated some stuff so that it shouldn't prompt for a password when you sudo to root. So we'll see that here in a second. Once you run it and it installs, then you run it again to get it to boot, basically. So we'll go back one and then wait a second here. Just to finish up. So the drive, it's like something crazy like 200 gigs, yeah. And the speed is good. I have a Windows image that's tiny, Windows 11, and it's pretty quick. All right, so it's crapped out. We've got ready to run it again. Not yet, and you can tell if it's big image, 8 gigs, it's actually installed and done what it's supposed to do. There's errors. It should error out if there's error messages. Should be in here. So run it again, and now that there's a QEMU file in there, it says now it's going to start QEMU. And we're pretty much set from here. There's, like I said, there's basic setup stuff, and you can add whatever you post install stuff you want to this to customize it, reverse shells or whatever. The idea would be to have something like this with maybe even without a UI, just for tunneling traffic through or running specific tools. But this should work. Nope, still have to put in the password, so whatever. But that's it. You're pretty much good. Now, stuff like clipboard only works kind of locally. So that's what I'm trying to do is just to get some time. I'll do something like set up a clipboard so you can copy and paste locally, but you can't copy to and from the host. So that's something to try out. Anyways, hope that helps out. You can do whatever you want from here. Um, I don't really want to do that, but I guess the browser's here. I guess it was already pulling down stuff. Let's go to Kaji. And as you can see, it's pretty quick. It's pretty speedy. The only time you'll have issues is if you're with the Windows one. It's like 2 gigs of RAM, but it's still pretty sluggish. But this Debian image is like fast because it's running lightweight X, and it's pretty not bloated as much. Cool. Take it easy. Let me know if you have any problems running it.